now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from JHebert Studios. Straight from JHebert Studios, James covers the good, the bad, and the ugly, and gives his perspective on things. Now here is your host, James Hebert. Well, I'm sure you guys are probably shocked that this is back. I won't be the only thing coming back. Obviously, custom themes will be in the works soon again, as I said before in many different podcasts, including the Indy Force and other podcasts, and now this one. And there will be a new podcast debuting with Mike Nikos and Mike Marr this Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. But this isn't about promoting or shameless plugging, at least in the beginning, because we're going to talk about something serious that I've been debating should even be talked about on my channel, but I have seen a lot of other YouTubers do it. And even though I have a considerably small audience than others do, I want to talk about the George Floyd situation. As much as I've tried to avoid it, just because I've prided myself on this channel being an escapism. I realize that I have a responsibility, even with just a little under 4K subscribers, to inform people of what's going on. So I cave. This is too important to just ignore. If you've known what's been going on with the George Floyd situation, you will know that he was unarmed and he was being arrested for fraud, essentially. And he was very compliant with officers. It shows on video. He was not resisting arrest. He did not have a weapon on him. And the cop, while arresting him, had his knee right to his neck. He kept screaming, "I can't breathe." And the cop essentially killed him because he would not let his knee off his neck. And he was dead. And it has sparked worldwide outrage. Absolute worldwide outrage. It is very, very sad what happened. It's depressing what happened, really. It never should have happened, but it did. And now people have, it sparked the Black Lives Matter movement in spades, and you know what? Now I'm part of that movement as well. I haven't officially signed up yet, but I am for those guys. And before I play the videos that I'm going to be playing, I'm going to put a link in the video. I'm going to put a link in the description of charities that you can donate. Thank you to Simon Minter and Randolph for providing those charities, because I didn't know where to really look, because this is me kind of just getting into this a little bit late. But the reason why I support this is quite frankly because the human race should just be one race. Nobody should be judged for the color of their skin. Nobody should have special privileges because of the color of their skin. Enough's enough of this shit. And the problem is, and you know what? I looked at it better now, but looking at it now, I genuinely see that there's a reason why it's a worldwide outrage and not just a national outrage. It's because literally anybody that's of color will get discriminated and judged. And while I've made my mistakes in the past, we gotta be better than this. We absolutely have to be better than this. And, no more judging people of the color of their skin, even if they did something completely and heinously wrong. Although I'd like insults thrown at me. Like, hey, potato, if I did something wrong. That's how I see it. If you're gonna insult, somebody and be racist towards them because of something they did wrong, you should do the same with all races. So not just be one thing. But that's a whole other discussion for another day. The main point is nobody should be discriminated against. And if you're going to discriminate one, you should discriminate against all. Okay? Because there's shit white people, there's shit black people, there's shit, Mexican people, there's shit Indian people. It exists everywhere, in every race, right? Quote unquote race. But at the end of the day, through all of our fuck-ups, we are the human race. That is the message I'm trying to get across here. We need to be better and not judge people from color. That shit needs to end. So, the link's in the description. But to explain it better than I ever could, as believe it or not, is Jake, or not even Jake. Fuck Jake. Logan Paul And I know people are now starting to criticize him because they think he's just disingenuous and, the Suicide Force. And trust me, I was one of those critics. Believe me. But I could tell how genuine this was. He was choked up when he actually talked about this. So we're going to play it for you here.
Listen closely. One of my biggest learnings from all of this, and I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable. Police officers, politicians, policymakers. As Killer Mike said, bully the politicians at the voting booth. Make your voice heard. Attend a protest. Speak up against injustice. If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are fucking blind. You are delusional and you are part of the problem. I can count on 0 hands the amount of times that I have feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. That has never happened. Half of the reason I'm able to get away with some of my hooligan shit I do in my vlogs is because I'm a white kid.
Yep.
I'm confident that I do not have to fear for my life should the cops show up.
Amen.
Acknowledge and weaponize your privilege. I believe we're going to a protest today. You can bet your fucking ass I'll be in the front line. Knowing all this about America, its racially charged background, its inability to truly treat humans as equals, even after 244 years since its inception. We must now work towards finding the solution. And if you are an influencer or celebrity friend of mine, I hope you are using your platform to continue to spread the message of solidarity and unity. I do not have all the answers, but I know we must now reverse engineer the system as a collective. We must open our eyes and realize that there is only one race, and that is the human race. On behalf of Breonna Taylor, we must change. On behalf of Ahmaud Arbery, we must advance. And on behalf of George Floyd and the hundreds of others who have been unjustly murdered in this country, we must evolve.
That is, regardless of how we got there, the truest speech on this whole matter that I have heard thus far. There's another one we're going to go to in a minute, but I wanted to play Logan's first because for someone of white privilege to say something like that, that tells you all you need to know on why fucking people are outraged. 100%. And they have a fucking goddamn right to be. Absolutely 100% right to be. Let's get on to the other side of the coin. And remember, it doesn't matter if the guys are black, it doesn't matter if the guys are white, it doesn't matter if the guys are any other nationality or race. This is about the human race and what this means if this does not succeed the way we want it to succeed.
I am just another number, a fucking statistic to the white man. And you expect me to stay peaceful? Fuck a riot, nigga. Corporations got the money to build back. They got insurance. But who doesn't have insurance? My fucking people. Nigga. So you telling me that I gotta stay peaceful and you wondering why I'm coming outside when the KKK can put on their fucking hoods, but I can't put on a hoodie because I might die? Damn. That I gotta open up my fucking bag and show I ain't got no drugs. You know what I got? I got water. This is some shit I need to breathe. I got my ID with me. Not because I might buy something, because if I fucking die on these streets, somebody gotta identify me. And I guarantee the person who touches my body is either going to be a paramedic who gets paid or another black person who's concerned because they just lost another brother. So that's why I'm out here, because I'm angry. Yeah. And I'll speak up if I have to. I don't care, my nigga. I don't have the luxury to care. I don't have the luxury to wake up in the morning, go outside, and just chill. I can't sit outside that I'm not from. If niggas don't know me in the hood, I'm getting questioned. If my guard gets pulled over and I smell like weed, what can I do? Oh, I got rights, right? They can't search my car without a warrant. Congrats. They just pulled me out my fucking car. Who am I going to call when the police start breaking the law? Please tell me. Who can I call? That's right. You got nobody. So we got to stay silent. All these names, George Floyd, the people we fighting for. Guess what we also gotta do? Stay silent, and we're tired. I just started my 20s, and I'm tired. My nigga, I don't even know what I'm gonna eat tomorrow. You gave me a fucking stimulus check for $1,200 talking about reparations. Nigga, that's rent. I gotta choose if I wanna pay rent or eat. How many fucking ramen noodle packets do I gotta go through before I can start living the good life?
God damn, spitting facts, nigga. Hey, we need everybody to take a knee and listen to this.
I want you to
This.
If you heard that right, they said we got to take a knee to listen to this. So what they've been doing is they've been taking a knee. This is very similar to what good cops that are against this bullshit have been doing. So this is kind of spread throughout all these protests where they take a knee. This started with Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL, which a lot of people were against, and I'll even admit, myself included initially. But knowing why he did it, I think this kind of opened my eyes to that a lot, on why he went about it the way he did. So yeah, it's kind of sucky, but it's true. It's absolutely true. We need to change. These guys should not be discriminated against for the color of their skin. These guys should not be discriminated for the race or their ethnic background. It is so disgusting that that's still prevalent in today's society. That being said, again, everybody, like the two people I just mentioned, they have been protesting. You obviously saw this guy was at a protest. Logan was in the front lines, as he said he would be, during the protest. And, yeah, it's insane. Like, this is really bringing out the best in people. Now, I'm sure you're going to get people judging Logan, and that's no shock there, and that's fine, right? Trust me, he's earned his just criticism. I'm not even saying that they're wrong. Even Keem in that regard, but at some point, we got to look at the bigger picture here, and regardless of how Logan got to that conclusion, it's right. It's 100% right. And what Real Javaya said is right. And by the way, guy, here's your Instagram. I don't know if you want people to follow you, but you were tagged. Guy seems like a really cool dude. Likes anime, likes rap music, likes just spreads a message of positivity. I think that says love, although some of it's cut out. This guy seems like a really cool, just seems genuinely like a cool dude. So definitely go give him a follow, because that speech was from the heart. And while I don't agree with anything getting vandalized, period, I just don't. I think it's just counterintuitive, regardless of what side you fall under. I agree with everything else that he said, 100%. Bottom line, we need to change. Shit needs to change in this country. Shit needs to change in the world. And you know what? I'm gonna type in a video, because if any time this was prevalent and works in today's society, it's this music video right here. Okay, so there it is. I'm not racist. People should know what this video is by now. I don't need to play it, and plus, even if I do play it, I'm sure it will, get demonetized. But, geez, I mean, it's spiked up in views. I wonder why. Considering what's going on in the world. But yeah, this was incredibly well made and produced by Joyner. And it was crazy. I enjoyed that video for the story it told. I was actually introduced to this by Victor, and that's how I discovered Joyner Lucas, so a fun fact on that. So, yeah. Pretty much all that needs to be said there. I don't need to keep these videos up anymore. Links for the charities to help the Black Lives Matter movement will be in the description if you want to help out on that. Because we need to We need to do that. 100%. We need to do that. I think this is a point where free speech cannot be destroyed. And I know a lot of people are saying that. But do not destroy free speech. That's a bad idea. I don't think that's a good idea, period. You need free speech, even if some speech is terrible. And trust me, we're going to get to the terrible things that have been said. And what shouldn't be said. And should be barred in free speech. But, oh wow. Speaking of that, and you know what, I'll promote this too, and I'm sure these two are gonna go off. So WC Bub and JHebert go to the JHebert channel right now. I'll put a link into this video in the description. Are basically going to destroy Tammy Lynch for the horrible comments that she said. Now, I just hope that, you know, they're not going to tell her to kill herself, although I doubt it, because I think they're better than that. But yeah, no, this woman's a piece of shit for what she said, and that's my opinion on it. I'm not even going to repeat what she said. I'm also not going to repeat what fucking Linda Hogan fucking said, because fuck that. That was just absolutely a absolute trash take. Does not mean that they don't have the right to free speech, but we have the right to criticize them when they have a bad take. So it works both ways, doesn't it? That's how it is. So yeah, go check out that video. I'm definitely going to be doing it after this podcast for sure. But let's move on now from that, because there's also a lot of other serious stuff going on in the world. We're gonna go on to the YouTube stuff first, and then the wrestling stuff later. It all kind of coincides with my greater message here later, but I want to talk about this video first. This is a video from Scarce, obviously, and you know, there's a lot going on in the world, even prior to the George Floyd situation. And if you've been following the drama that's been going on with H3 and Keem, with the sponsorships, you know, being revoked now because they've been going after each other's sponsors, or at least H3 has been going after Keem's sponsors, and then Keemstar fans went back in kind, and now other people are feeling the effects, and also, you know, just Pokemon as well going after the sponsors, and just unleashing this mob mentality kind of thing. I think we need to bring that back a little bit, just a little bit. And yeah, we're just gonna let him explain this. We're gonna start off with a story that is a personal gripe to me, and that's this Caterino situation. I think it's just tasteless that people are making fun of her problems and just kind of making fun of her mental health in general. While I understand she's definitely subject to criticism, there's borderline between criticism and full-on harassment. And we're gonna get to that in a minute. But let's get on to this video, and we'll go from there. Actually, do I even need it like that? Hold on. I could probably do it in a specific manner. Theater mode. Theater mode work? I don't know. Fuck it. Some things never change with this podcast. But anyway, here we go.
Next story of today comes from Caterino. Now, I'm sure many of you know that Caterino was a very well-known Twitch streamer, and a lot of people thought that she was in a relationship with the other YouTuber and streamer Carson. Turns out that she really wasn't in a full-on relationship with Carson, because she was in a relationship with many other people. She apparently was also in a relationship with her own manager. At the same time, she also had relations with the league streamer known as I Will Dominate. She also cheated on her boyfriends with the YouTuber Fitz, and many people feel like she has actually dated a lot of other Twitch streamers and YouTubers, just no one knows who exactly they are. So Caterino apologized for this last month, and she got so much hate and controversy and backlash over this that she ended up just leaving Twitch and YouTube. She didn't stream anymore. Well, it turns out that just yesterday, Katie Reno came back to live streaming. So Katie Reno had thousands of viewers on this comeback stream, and many people were trying to troll Katie Reno by making her say a bad word here, and she ended up accidentally saying something that sounded like a bad word. It wasn't really a bad word, but Too Mad, a very well-known YouTube streamer, ended up reacting to this on his stream. Just watch this.
Spam anything else. Spam. She just said the N-word. She just said the N-word. Everybody spam, come on, bro. Everybody spam, come on, bro. She just said the N-word. She literally just said the N-word.
Now, just today,
Where do I even begin with this? Where do I even begin? Why? Why make... It's... I get it. It's funny to you. But it's like, she's going through shit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying she's not subject to criticism. If you want to criticize her, go for it and criticize her. But she admitted she needs help because she's got mental problems, dude. I don't know. Like, I want to look at the bright side, but it just looks fucking tasteless and shit. Like, there's no need for that. You need to know when shit's appropriate to joke about, and this was the wrong time to joke about it. Timing's everything. Really is. Timing's everything. You know what I mean? Like, if you notice, like, I know this is a horrid example, but, you know, comedians didn't like make jokes about 9/11 right after it happened. I mean, some did, and then they got blackballed. But after enough time passed, they started making jokes about it, right? That's just how it is with everything in life. You gotta learn to cope in some way, and I firmly admit that. Hell, I did a whole thing. Maybe this is a better comparison where, you know, I made a crying video and I was a bitch, you know, and about wrestling and CM Punk and all that, and, you know, I apologized, and just after enough time, I just kind of joked about it. So, you know, people make mistakes, and then you could probably joke about it later on, but, like, when somebody's got some serious mental problems, it's not, like, something you should just joke about it right away. And I get it, you know what I mean? You know, cheating, nobody likes to be cheated on. Nobody likes to, you know that, you know, a girl that you were dating is sleeping around with a bunch of other guys. And it's a fucked up thing, and that's the typical SJW way of looking at it. Even though it's not really just an SAW thing, but SJW thing, excuse me, tripping over my words. But, I just think there's a better way to go about it, and it's like our method of trying to understand people's dispositions have completely gone out the window. That's what that screams to me. But it's not all bad, because there is a happy ending to the story, and I wish more people were like this guy about to come up.
She literally just said the N-word.
Now, just today, Katie Reno did an interview with another streamer known as Dr. K. Now, this guy is a psychiatrist. He's obviously very well educated. He went to Harvard, and he ends up talking to Katie Reno on a stream here. Now, there was tens of thousands of viewers watching live.
Well, what happened was I had a boyfriend, and I cheated on him with several people.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's that long story short.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that the internet was not kind to you in that circumstance.
Oh no, the internet and I were best friends. They love me. The people love me.
Okay.
No, Dr. K, they're really mad.
Yeah, that's, you know, so I think it's not good to cheat on people, and also, I don't know that it's the internet's place to judge. I think the judgment that you really, you know, I think you aggrieved one person, right? As far as I can understand.
what?
Like you really messed with one person, right? So like your boyfriend.
Yeah, but I hurt other people in the process.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely, especially the boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend now. But
Now, the craziest part about this whole stream is that Carson himself
Now we'll get. All right, now hold on. We'll get to Carson in a minute. There's actually two people that I wish existed more. So this guy doesn't know who the hell she is. Probably had an inkling of who she was. Took the time to help her and give her a platform to talk about her issues. For free, by the way. I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know if it was for free. But I assume relatively more cheap than you would for any psychiatrist in general, right? And this guy helped her. And obviously this stream was for Mental Health Awareness Month, and how apropos with this going on, obviously. But my God. You know what I mean? Like, this guy took the time out of her day to try to help her through her issues, and I haven't seen the full stream. I'm sure the full stream is somewhere. But just seeing that, it's just like, try to understand from that perspective. I understand, like, if you were personally wronged, it's normal to feel wronged and not want to talk to them. But then there's the other side to that. How would you react? Well, let's watch how Carlson, the boyfriend she cheated on, reacted here.
I can imagine.
But yeah, definitely, especially the boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend now, but.
Now, the craziest part about this whole stream is that Carson himself, the guy who she apparently cheated on, he donated to the stream $10,000. And Carson's comment on his donation here was, "Thank you for helping her."
Alrighty. Oh my God. I see a $10,000 donation. What the fuck?
That would be my reaction if I got 10 grand too, to be honest.
So, call me Carson Pog. Absolutely, man. All right, so first of all, man, so many different things to say. I just need to process for a second. I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Again, this would be my reaction. If I ever got this large amount of money, my God, just for helping, just for being a helpful guy. Oh my God, I wouldn't know what to think myself. I'd be like this guy right here. My God, man. That's insane. Yeah, you got paid big time, for sure.
Now, our next story today is a huge follow-up to the H3 and Keemstar drama that's been going on over the past week. I'm sure many of you guys know.
Alright, and here we go with the bullshit. Here we go with the fucking bullshit. Okay. So. First off, making sure my camera's recording. Yes, it is. This fucking bullshit needs to end in one way or the other. Because now it's affecting the whole platform of free speech and just being able to make a living on YouTube and giving people an excuse to take away certain freedoms and rights and income. Or giving excuses to people to do that. And we'll get into why I am totally for what Keemstar, out of all people, recommends here.
Know what happened here, but if you don't, H3 made a video called Content Nuke on Keemstar. This happened a couple days ago. This video has millions and millions of views. Keemstar responded with a video called H3 Lies here. This also has millions of views. And then H3 responded back to Keemstar with a video called Nuclear Fallout. So both these YouTubers really hate each other. They are going at it over YouTube. I mean, they're making multiple videos on each other. And actually, the YouTuber Muda from Some Ordinary Gamer just recently got into it with Ethan Klein from H3 on Twitter. Now, Some Ordinary Gamer tweeted this out a couple weeks ago. He says, "Unpopular opinion, but Keemstar has really helped me out the last couple of weeks on YouTube and in general behind the scenes. He keeps playing up this evil character, but he's been a pretty good guy to me, so I'm thankful for that." So H3 responded to this saying, "He is nice to me, so I'll let the enormity of horrible things he has done slide. Is why Keemstar has continued to get away with all he has for so long."
This I agree with. This is the most real Ethan Klein's been throughout this entire situation. Because Keem has done a lot of scumbag shit. Let's not pretend he hasn't. Okay? Now, again, nobody's perfect. But in this case, Keem has done a lot of criminal shit that honestly should land him at least in jail or at least have him serve community service. If not more than that. Because of what he did. I'm sorry. That was just looking at him. He's out for revenge, and that's all it is to him. It's like, how can I get back the people that hurt me the most? 'Cause I have a revenge list. I'm sorry. It's fucked up. And now and how hypocritical is it too? Like, I don't know if he feels like he got back Leafy, but now he's friends with Leafy again, and they made like this fucking merch line or whatever with him, and there's like there was like another YouTuber that names escapes me, which means I probably don't care because it's Keemstar related, but we need to know what the fuck is right and what the fuck is wrong. And personally, I think the best way to do this is to maybe develop a constitution for online. Similar to what the US has, obviously you have all those provisions in there, but add provisions, and we'll get to those provisions later. And that's my recommendation on how we can stop a lot of this bullshit that goes on social media. That just should not be acceptable, period. Just shouldn't be. But yeah, let's continue.
Long. Now, Muda responded back to Ethan saying, I haven't seen a reach this good since Halo. And to remind the audience, you scrolled past the tweet where I defended your sponsor harassment, but I can see how that doesn't fit the narrative. Keemstar then responded again to H3H with a video called Ethan Klein Detached from Reality. This video just came out yesterday, and then just today, Ethan made another video on Keemstar, and this video is called Nuclear Winter. Keemstar then tweets out here saying, I challenge you, H3H3, and he challenged Ethan to a boxing match. Just watch this.
Ethan Klein! Okay, enough is it. First of all, this new video is absolute trash. What's next? You gonna come and bring on like the kid I got into a fight with in the 5th grade? Is he coming up with his story? How Keemstar's a horrible dude? Look, enough is enough, okay? You're old, okay? I'm old. We're old. Both of us are completely out of shape, alright? But there's one thing that's in common with us. We're both petty, and we're both revengeful, and this is never gonna end. You know it, and I know it. We're gonna hate each other until the end of time. Let's turn this into something good, okay? Let's get in shape, and let's get in a goddamn ring. I don't even care if I lose. I just want to hit you. Just once, legally, right? In a boxing ring, and I'm sure you want to do the same. Dude, I love money. You obviously love money. Your whole career is you just being greedy. We'll probably each make $5 million each by doing this. Let's get in the ring. I don't care if it's a year. If you need a year to get in shape, I don't care if it's tomorrow either. Whatever you want to call it, let's get in the ring. Let's get a hold of Danza, set it up. Eddie, set it up. Like, I just want to hit you so bad. Legally. Of course, legally. This is not a threat or anything. I got to be clear, because this will get spun real quick. The master of spinning narratives. But guys, if you want to see a Keemstar versus H3H3 boxing match, retweet the fuck out of this. Ethan, man the fuck up. Again, I don't want to hear you're out of shape. I don't want to hear any of this stuff, because I am too. Completely out of shape. Yeah, I ran the last couple days, but trust me, it was a struggle. Let's get in the ring. Let's settle this like men. It doesn't matter if you lose. It doesn't matter if I lose. What matters is that we can physically express this hatred towards each other.
Now, okay. Before we get into everything else there, I agree with that. 100%. There needs to be some resolution to this. And every YouTube drama thing, beef that I've ever seen recently has ended with this fucking boxing match bullshit. That's how it happened. That's how it ended. That's what needs to happen here. Period. I again, that's just how I see it. Now, at the end of the day, Keem's still a shit person. Ethan is very much a shit person now that we've discovered what he's actually doing this for. However, I think doing this would be a lot more better for the YouTube scene. And again, I talked about the bigger picture earlier. This is the bigger picture. We need free speech to still exist. We need our ads, our And keep in mind, this is a guy that makes no money on the platform, okay? Small YouTubers need sponsorship money. You keep doing this, and you have a strong chance that YouTube can take that the fuck away. They just can. And in fact, I know this is, I know I probably should have pulled this up, but a guy by the name of Tommy C can explain it far better than I can. And explains why I personally think that if you do this, simply put, the platform is going to be much better off. I'm not going to watch the fight. I'm not going to give a single shit about the fight. But if they fight and there's a winner and there's a loser, the fight most likely ends. I don't really give a single shit. So there you go. Let's try to find where this is. I believe it's this. This is the video. I want to skip right to the part where he rants about the no third-party sponsorship.
Here,
Because
just
it's
watch
true.
the fucking car crash, a train wreck, or trash fire. Let's look at it this way. Keem was already pretty much considered a piece of shit. Now Ethan is considered a piece of shit. All right, and this is really funny. I just lost my train of thought. That's fucking. I hate when that happens.
It's great.
Yeah.
Legendary show, guys.
Yeah, this is legend. Thanks.
They're both a piece of shit. Keep
Sounds German. $5. Thank you so much. It's time to.
Dude, Keemstar was already known as a piece of shit, so we made an anthology to tell all the new people about how much of a piece of shit he actually is. Because Ethan Klein is a little salty boy that he got in trouble. He got in like his own little argument with Keemstar.
Yeah.
Where Keem said some genuinely fucking incorrect shit on a Drama Alert, and he should have taken the fucking video down. But as a result, look at the whole community. We're the guys who get fucked.
Yeah.
All the small YouTubers who aren't going to be able to get sponsorships. There's
That's a
the
lot of
ability
money, I
here
guess,
for maybe YouTube just goes, you know, BetterHelp was a disaster.
Thank you, King.
That shit with like the liberals was a fucking what was it? The fucking that app they all had. Not the who was it?
King's, I have to shout somebody out. King's Snuffle Plugs. My donation was a content nuke. Here's a little from my book deal. Congratulations, Mr. Snuffle Plugs. And saying I'm not familiar with your book deal, but I'll look into it afterwards. Go ahead, Nick. I apologize.
What was that other deal? Candid? All right, that was the second sponsorship that blew up the platform. Now watch this. Imagine like they just turn around and go, guys, extra sponsors are now illegal. We're not going to have those on YouTube. You have to go through Google AdSense and all that stuff. No more Raid Shadow Legends. No more. Like, dude, that cripples fucking people's income.
You know, has anybody thought like Ethan or even because here's the thing. All right, I want to make this abundantly fucking clear. Keem's such a platformer too. I had actually forgotten some of the platforming type stuff he done. I remember back in 2018 when he was trying to, I don't know, tell all of Bloodsports that I was a deadbeat father. He is at the platform. It's true, without a shadow of fucking doubt. There's no doubt about it. But you know, I get this like vibe from Ethan. He's like, well, you're doing it too. You go after people's sponsors too. Like, what the fuck, dude? Does that like does that change the situation? Now we got two powerful YouTubers throwing each other, and I'd rather be Keem than Ethan in this situation. I know.
I will say this. He's right. So Ethan, man the fuck up and accept this fight with Keem so this shit can end, please.
No, Keem, he's going to recover. But Ethan, you've lost more sponsors than him that we know of. Okay, he's only losing subs. That's just a matter of time before he turns it down. He's too big to fail. And now you're dirty with less sponsored. How is that a fucking win? And Keem, he'll probably recover. Does he deserve to? No. Does he probably deserve to be canceled for natural reason? Yeah, probably. But once you brought everybody into this and launched a literal nuclear fucking weapon, how apropos, and no consideration, and that, oh my god, that fucking alcoholic anonymous fucking family intervention going on in that dipshit's timeline is fucking blowing my mind. Everybody from Deji to anybody that's been called a name by Keem is up there lecturing Keemstar like he's the family drunk that missed every goddamn baseball game and dance recital. Oh my God. I mean, could you virtue signal anymore, Ethan? Could you really be that pathetic? Because we know you don't care.
If I made a video and I retweeted all that shit, my fucking shit would get knocked down in a minute. Everyone would be calling on my credibility. This guy's retweeting everyone who tags him. It's insane.
It's insane.
He's not vetting any of this shit.
Yeah, that's another thing. Here's another thing. I'm probably going to lose a follow for this, Ethan. Deji fucking lied. He bought subs, and that was the only reason he made that video and didn't name Combos, who has the fucking drop-dead receipt proof that he bought subs. It went to his fucking mother's fucking email account. I mean, it's truly, I'll go get my legal team. Get the fuck out of here. You're not suing anybody. I mean,
his answer for that was, he said he's going to show proof.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I know about the whole Deji story, but yes, Deji is wrong for that, and he was exposed for that.
So much fucking evidence. I mean, only Deji with
Deji's situation,
IQ.
there is an abundance of evidence, Ethan. An abundance of evidence. I can't believe you just throw any other. If I said Keemstar fuck my ass in front of my wife, would you put me on your goddamn timeline too? Oh my God! You know? For fuck's sake, man! For fuck's sake, you were supposed to be above all this. And let me tell you something. I've mentioned this before in the last podcast, and I mentioned it publicly for all time. I know I'm probably muted now. You holding Tommy NC in a big light and saying, Leafy, oh my God, I don't know how you're doing this. And by the way, I talked to Leafy. You never called him ahead of time. You never did any such thing. And why? When I brought up, it's like, hey, would you like to go on Tommy's show to show him some good faith? I don't know if you promised him. I don't think you did.
Of course, the limit is on H3 side.
No. I
just saw that donation.
You don't give a fuck about any of these people. You'll swing a dead guy, an autist, a whore, anything you could do. Anything you could do to get over on Keem, which makes you no better than Keem going forward to the future as you bleed sponsorship because you said the N-word. Holy fucking shit. How do you not see more than one move ahead? How does a multi-millionaire living in that house not see this? It is beyond, it doesn't even, you can't even grasp it. It's unbelievable. Yes, Keemstar is a doxer. Keemstar is a platformer. He's all those things. He's a horrible person. And you know what? His revenge, and I've talked about this show 1,000 fucking times, 1,050 times. Everybody that's been watching this show for years knows it. Keem's biggest problem is he can't let anything go. He thinks for years about getting people back. People that slighted him back in the early fucking 2000s. He thinks about it, and that led us to this point. And in a combination with that was the fuel. And H3 was the match that lit it on fire. Two selfish fucking pricks that don't care about the platform because they already made their motherfucking money. And I hope you take YouTube's advice, because the next step, and this is what I believe, they just turn the goddamn third-party sponsors off. That's not censorship. There's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing the government's going to do to keep that from happening. They turn on, make a rule tomorrow, no third-party sponsorships. Don't think they'll do that? Look at the Monday Night, or look at Monday Night. That's what it is. And that dramatic solution to a problem that really wasn't that bad. I mean, look at the dramatic solution with the demonetization they did with PewDiePie. I mean, they make dramatic solutions. You jerk-offs keep fighting no third-party commercials. You fucking jackasses. Keem, get over yourself. You don't have to get even with absolutely everything. H3, go back to being fucking boring. God damn it. I'm done.
We talk about this holding account.
The guy, actually, you know what?
That's another crazy fucking example that my whole Twitter timeline is filled with. Guys, we're just not holding Keem accountable. Dude, fuck you. This guy has been 9/11 4 times in the past 4 years. Like, there's like an annual fuck Keemstar roast by a big YouTuber.
He gets canceled every
month. This guy's been he's trending once a month. We need to cancel him. This guy literally gets fucking annihilated. The only thing that hasn't happened to him is people haven't rallied to deplatform him publicly, and people haven't gone for his sponsors. And that's exactly what H3H3 did. And that's what puts his video apart from all the other ones. And that's the only reason why this is being taken to the fucking level it is. Because I don't care. I'm not going to get angry about the Tony situation for the 50th time 4 years later. I'm not going to sit here and pretend all this new information has changed what I think about Keemstar. Because the truth is, I think he's a piece of shit. I've always thought he's a piece of shit. I got sick in my fucking stomach.
You're in H3's video!
When I saw all these people, that's great. Video. But dude, I got sick at the bottom of my stomach when people said like Keemstar's really changed about a week ago, and all these things are on the timeline. And there are people in that thread now, obviously not the guy who made it, but there are people in that thread who are fucking shitting on Keem right now, who were sucking his dick about a week ago.
Sure.
This guy's like Deji, who watched this guy fuck you. He said he was gonna go on your podcast, and then you got into a fight with Keem, and he never came on. He watched him fuck you. He watched him fuck everybody. He watched the content cop come out, and then when Deji had a problem with Keemstar, then suddenly Deji started to talk. Then suddenly Deji's mouth opened, and he had something to say. But when it affected everybody else, he didn't give a shit. Okay? I think it's crazy that all you fucking gigantic YouTubers will sit here and fucking pander to this guy. Dude, everybody in the fucking NCO who didn't shout out my fucking Just Destiny video because you guys were involved in it a little bit, dude, every one of you guys look fucking shitty right now too. All these fucking people who are gonna come out and go, you know, Keemstar's always been an asshole, but I never fucking said anything. Suck a dick.
Yeah. He's never done anything to me. That's always the one I get. But
yeah, and that's true. And again, he mentioned the whole thing with H3, so that gives perspective to fucking Keem and everybody else. Is there anything left that needs to be said about that? I think Tommy and Nick kind of said everything for me. Like, honestly. This shit needs to end, bro. This shit needs to fucking end. H3, take the fucking fight. Keem, I recommend, you know what, keep provoking him on it. That's the one thing I'll recommend, because I want our YouTube to fucking be around for years to come. I want my fucking kids, if I have any, to know about this, the greatest technology marvel of the 21st fucking century, which is YouTube. I want him to experience that. Even if he doesn't want to be a content creator, if he just wants to, you know, be a content curator, I want him to be able to be that. I want him to be able to be that. This shit needs to end. And it needs to end now. So either do the fucking boxing fight to end this shit once and for all and get the anger out of your fucking systems, or take down the videos, sit the fuck down, and shut the fuck up. Those are your fucking options. Honestly, if you want this platform to fucking survive this freaking content nuke. Which, by the way, nice ripping off of iDubbbz there, H3, you dumb shit. And by the way, fucking iDubbbz didn't go after Keem's sponsors when he made his content cop. Dumbass. By the way, that's not the only person that's been going after sponsors. We'll get to them later. Anyway, finishing the rest of Scarce's video and take on this.
Obviously, many YouTubers want to see this happen. The H3H responded to this boxing match here. He said, "Here's my response to Keemstar's challenge to box me," and he shows a screen.
I'm not even going to entertain him reading this. I'm not even going to. There's a huge difference, and I'm actually defending Keem on here, okay? He challenged J Station challenged him when Keem knew he was going to be fucked because of how young J Station is. J Station gets his shape, would have demolished fucking Keem at his age. Keemstar fighting H3 is it's a much more even fight. Not to mention the fact that what you did justifies getting hit. Jason pretty much already played himself when he decided, oh, let me do these 3 a.m. videos of, oh, God, I don't know, the freaking Juice WRLD, and I don't know, knowing him, he probably would have done one on frickin' George Floyd about now. Something like that. I don't know. But I know he hasn't done that since, because Keem called him out on it in fairness. And that was actually a very good news story. I'll give him credit on that. It wasn't, not that he's a news channel, but he did point out the wrongness of it. He did. But that does not change the fact that Keem's done a lot of scummy shit. And I stand by what I said in Indy Force Extra 3. If you haven't seen it, go and find it. I'm not even going to link it, because there's no point. But it is on my channel. You can't miss it. It's the Content Nuke thumbnail with the Indy Force logo on it. We said what we needed to say. We said what we needed to say, and I firmly stand by it. That Keem's a piece of shit. I'm with Nick on that. He's always been a piece of shit. He's always done scummy shit. But as I said, even a broken clock's right twice a day. So in this scenario, he was right about J-Station. He did a scummy thing. And again, as we will get on later, it's not to say that these shouldn't even be happening, that nobody can be criticized. Keem should be able to be criticized. J-Station should be able to be criticized. H3 should be able to be criticized. Pokimane, which we will get to, should be able to get criticized. And who the hell's that chick? That keeps striking contents down falsely. What's her name? Fuck it. She'll probably content strike this if I even do anything. Although Neil Druckmann has been doing it too, but we'll get. We've already covered that.
Star. J-Station wants to change the subject so badly by turning this into. Just watch this.
Whether.
And there's absolutely no way that I would ever box this kid. If I were to say yes, I'll box J-Station, I would be forced into promoting him by promoting the fight. All this is a manipulation tactic by him to change the subject for the fucking horrible things he's done. Now, the YouTuber Levy came out with a video on this yesterday, and he says here that all this drama is just bad for everyone. It's not helping out anyone. Just watch this.
Whether or not there's a winner in this stupid fucking drama, the loser is already decided, and it's channels that make money through sponsorships that make edgy content. Like, this has to be the biggest case of actual self-destruction I've ever seen on YouTube, and I'm not saying that from like a drama perspective. I'm saying that from like below the table perspective, in the sense of H3 lost sponsorship deals because of this. Keemstar lost sponsorship deals because of this. But it's not even that. It's the fact that this is setting a standard that if you make content that's edgy on YouTube, or not even that, if you ever made content that was edgy on YouTube, you now not only have a way less chance of getting a sponsorship, but as this thing transpires, you're going to be left with a constant risk of losing that deal.
Now, our next story today comes from the YouTuber Philip DeFranco.
We'll get to that. So this is covering the Pokemon story. But to Leafy's point, he's right again. This is kind of building on what Tommy C just said in this video. Although, again, which by the way, if you guys want to check out the videos, definitely in the description, check them out. I have no rights to those footage. That's all their rights. Give them a view. But I digress. This is 100% correct what Leafy said here. There are no winners in this situation. None. You got to stop this bullshit. Period. There's no reason why this shit should be happening right now. And it's just getting worse as time goes on. It's calmed down now because of what's going on, and everybody's kind of united with this whole, with what's going on in the real world and not online. But they're gonna come back to it. At some point, they're gonna come back to it, and it just needs to stop. It just needs to stop, bro. We got to chill out with going after each other's sponsors. Okay? That should just be a no. Should just be a no. And I remember, people saying, well, you were for, WWE, getting called out on for the Snickers and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, but this is a different situation. It's a different situation entirely. They were ignorant to the situation. That does not mean Snickers should have been bombarded with messages to pull out of WrestleMania. So I have a different stance on that now. Just an entirely different stance. But that does not mean that you can't criticize certain people and why they have sponsorships in the first place. But it's, should you really go after them? Because everybody needs to make money. And nobody's perfect, like I said. That should just, we should calm down on that. But there should be an unwritten rule that every YouTuber should follow from this point. Do not go after each other's sponsors. It is just wrong. And it will drastically impact the platform for people that are smaller or even bigger to be able to make money and make a living wage. You cannot do that anymore. We need to end that. That needs to stop. Period.
So recently, Phil DeFranco talked about the Pokemon and Gundam story on his show. He showed the clip here where Pokemon went after the YouTuber Gundam sponsors on her stream. And yesterday, Phil got a lot of backlash over this because people felt like he was being biased against Gundam here and for Pokemon. Gundam tweeted out saying, "Remember folks, facts matter, just not when it comes to me." And he shared this clip on Twitter.
Well, for a number of reasons. One, more recently, she accidentally showed porn on her stream. That's a whole other story, but pertaining to this story, there was a video that she was not a fan of. A video that took aim at her that she described as essentially 20 minutes of just calling her a thought. And she said this about the brand.
If I ever see you in my inbox, on site. Like, no company should do that just about ever. Oh, is this a video where some random dude behind a VR machine calls a girl a thought for 20 minutes? Really want to put my logo on that one.
Now, following that.
Okay. Pokey. Stop. Just stop with the bullshit. You're no better than Keem, you're no better than H3 when you do shit like that. Whether that was your intent or not, you're impacting the fucking platform of Twitch and YouTube. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. You have the right to be criticized. Period. Okay? Satire exists. It's always going to exist. It's going to exist, and it's going to make fun of everybody. Okay? If you watch enough comedy, they make fun of everybody. And that's never gonna fucking change. Ever. Ever. Okay? Period. Okay? If you get called a thought, they're gonna call you a thought in a joking way. And I watched the video, it was very much in a satirical way. And granted, he criticized you in the same token. That's what the commentary community does. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. You can ignore it. Here's a novel idea. How about just simply fucking ignore it? Just simply ignore it. That's simple. You don't have to respond to the criticism if you don't want to. That's it. You could just simply ignore it. I guarantee you, that guy did not have an audience big enough to fuck you up. Socially. Social blade-wise. You did not need to respond to that period. You just didn't. And the fact that you think that you needed to, and then it's like, that shows how sensitive you are as a fucking human being, first off. And second off, after you started to respond, you decided, let me go after a sponsorship. Dumb. Absolutely stupid and dumb. Don't do that again. Fuck's sake, these people.
The other creator said because of this, they've now lost another deal. As far as if that part's true, I don't know, but it still kind of plays to the point and debate of what do you think about people going after sponsors.
Now, many people have been making tweets and videos on this over the past few days, and people have been going after Philip DeFranco here. He's making a lot of backlash on that video for this.
Because of this, they've now lost another deal. As far as if that part's true, I don't know.
You could have asked.
Thanks, DeFranco, for completely omitting my name from the news story. I guess that was probably a move by his handlers to make sure that I got no extra press, because right now my YouTube channel seems to be blowing up. So I'm pretty sure the people that work with DeFranco, if they exist, because I don't know how you have 12 people doing news and you still somehow miss the context of the story. But hey, whatever, it happens. I got tricked by some tweets.
So Phil sent me a response here. He says, I haven't watched it, but seen some tweets today accusing me of not saying his name on purpose. But no, it was definitely a misunderstanding.
which, again, happens. Like, just chill out. But I get it. No, he has every right. And I did look into that story more, and his sponsorship did get pulled because of the bombardment of Pokemon's fans. Can content creators stop with the bullshit? Just honest to God. Just stop with the bullshit. Fuck me. Holy shit.
I had a clip in the original show where I mentioned the creators angry at
we're gonna pass this.
Fortnite. This is a very big deal in the Fortnite community, and he made a Twitter video on this. Now, our next story of today comes from Ninja.
Now, this is pretty much along the same lines of going after people's sponsorships. This is going after a livelihood in a different way because they got pissed off because they lost a fucking game coming up
is
here.
Recently pretty upset over griefers in Fortnite. This is a very big deal in the Fortnite community, and he made a Twitter video on this today, and this video has over 1 million views. Just watch this.
Don't land somewhere else and try to ruin someone else's tournament because you choked or sucked and now can't qualify. Okay? Find out what you did wrong and improve the next tournament. There's going to be a next tournament. This also goes out to people who actually have an audience and have a platform. You guys have to lead by example. I think these people know who I'm talking about. Don't go and grief other people's games because, they griefed yours. You have a huge audience. You guys have followings. You have to lead by example. You have to be pillars in the community. Just don't stoop to their level. Okay, be better than that. Be better than them, and just be a good role model, man. There's so many people who are watching you, thousands, tens of thousands of people watching you guys every day, watching you guys compete, and you guys just have to set a good example and try to stay above it.
Now, our next story today comes from KSI. So recently, I'm sure many.
All right, so I'm not going to get on to that because it doesn't matter. But yeah, to Ninja's point, don't grief people's games. Just fucking work. Fucking work harder. Be better than that. Be better than them. I think that's the lesson we can appreciate here. What Ethan couldn't do was be better than Keem. And we're gonna get to other people that couldn't be better than certain people as well. We'll get to that. Trust me. We'll get to that. So let's talk about this. So now we're on to the wrestling section. And boy. You'd think after the Hana Kimura situation, the shit would kind of calm down and quench itself a little bit, but it just did the exact opposite from the looks of it. Just did. So let's get on with it. This is from FTW Productions. His video will also be in the description. Rest in peace, Hana Kimura. I know it's been a while now since it happened, but I figured we should talk about it a little bit. Hana killed herself at the very, very young age of 22. She was bullied because people did not provide proper context of the situation. And just... man, I mean... just kind of left out... I mean, the media left a lot of stuff out, but... the show that ran the reality show or whatever, they ixnayed a lot of the stuff that actually happened afterwards out. But she got killed, or she killed herself rather, because of relentless bullying on Facebook Facebook, Twitter, Instagram after the episode aired. To which she then showed images of her harming herself and then killing herself later, and her friend was too late to save her. Which is just depressing, really. It's just super sad, and you know, she was so young. You know, she was so fucking young. she did that. Now, again, she should have just ignored it. I wish she did, because then she'd still be alive today. But when you get bombarded like that, and you're getting told to kill yourself unironically because of what aired on a television show which more than likely didn't provide the full fucking context, you don't know. You don't know what goes through somebody's head. I can tell you from experience, because it almost happened to me. Getting relentlessly bullied in middle school, really, really bad for my autism. I almost succeeded. I almost succeeded in dying and taking my own life. I did that, I would not be here today. And thank God I fucking didn't. I was like 13 at the time, too. So I'm glad I didn't. And there should, I wish people... And I'll admit, I was weak back then. I was weak because I didn't put the full picture in my head of what I'd be leaving behind. There is somebody that cares. Whether you think it or not, people do give a shit. And people do want you alive. Okay? And you also got to put into perspective a lot of these people that kind of go and say a lot of this cruel shit, especially to what they said to Hana Kimura, don't have the best lives themselves probably, and so they take it out on other people. It happens all the time. It's not to say that, it should excuse them, because it's fucking wrong, and they shouldn't ever tell somebody to kill themselves, especially in an unironic fashion. And there may be debate on whether that should be said at all, and I'll get to that. Only rule I really steadfast on is maybe you should just not joke about that period, because a lot of people do that. So, we'll get to this video, but I wanted to put the full context of what happened for those who don't know or have never known who Hana Kimura was. I ended up listening to the Wrestling Observer video, which I will not link in the description, but you will be able to find it if you look up Hana Kimura Wrestling Observer Radio in the YouTube search engine. It should be the first video that pops up. I already checked this morning. And I watched her matches afterwards, because I never heard of this woman. And holy crap, did we lose somebody so talented. It's a crying shame, actually, because I never knew who she was until I watched some of her matches from Stardom. I watched her match, like somebody recorded her dark match at Wrestle Kingdom. Like, it's so sad, dude. She would have been a big star. I'm almost convinced she would have been in AEW in a year's time. That's how good she was. She was gonna be signed by a major company at some point down the line. Or, if not that, be the biggest component of Stardom's women's division for Bushiroad and New Japan. She was going to probably be the poster child, the babyface of that company. I wish she put that into perspective, I really do. I really fucking do. Like, that was so hard to listen to, and why it happened, and just hearing all the nasty shit. And I actually saw some of the nasty shit that people said, like, kill yourself, you're ugly, and all this stuff. And look, even though you're ugly is bad, and, like, that's just opinion, sadly it is. That's just how it is. Even though I'm sure they're not good looking themselves. But the kill yourself one is what got to me. That's probably what got to me the most. Like, threatening her and telling her to kill herself and all that horrid shit. It's just fucked up, bro. It's so fucked up. That being said, let's continue with the video.
I made a video last week addressing the toxicity in the wrestling community, saying that all fans need to take accountability and become better overall. And then this week happened and it proved my point even more. Wrestlers, reporters, podcasters, and fans were all completely exposed. I've been extremely disappointed over the last day because all parties involved should be ashamed of themselves for what transpired. This was a terrible week to be a wrestling fan, maybe even the worst week ever. I was watching it all go down feeling pretty shitty.
Then George Floyd happened. I'm not even trying to laugh because... it's funny. I'm just laughing because that's the sad reality. Because then George Floyd happened. Literally, this is a week before that happened. Like these string of unfortunate events, like the whole H3 and Keem going after each other, Hana Kimura taking her own life, and Shad Gaspard dying and saving his son. That's a blimp on the radar at this point. Is Shad being a hero, which is really, really sad. And then fucking George Floyd. It was like, literally this month has probably been the worst yet. Just generally speaking, like, it has been terrible. An absolutely terrible month. I want this year to be over already. You have no idea. But yeah, no. He's right. It was definitely the worst streak in wrestling history. That's for damn sure.
About it all. How can everyone be so toxic? And how haven't we learned any lessons from the last week? You would think that some of the events that happened would knock some sense into people. Nope, it just showed some true colors. It was just all disgusting and unbelievable. In today's video, I will be addressing all of the drama, talking about the issues, and overall giving you guys my thoughts and opinions on everything. The first thing that must be addressed is the sad news about Hana Kimura, who passed away due to negative comments 2 freaking years old. Kimura said that she got hundreds of messages about her weight and other hurtful things. This is
her weight is not the main problem I have, and I wish he brought up the fact that there were people telling her to kill herself, which is probably what drove her over the edge. I wish that was brought up here. I wish that was brought up. There was a ton of people threatening her and just telling her to kill herself because they didn't have any context of the situation of what happened, which again is partly to blame on them, but also a hand of the blame has to go to the developers of that fucking of that fucking show, whatever that show is. So, oh man, but. So yeah, I'll get to that later because that will be my closing thoughts on this whole thing.
Unacceptable from any fan base and any media itself. It's a bigger problem that needs to be addressed. People need to understand that these wrestlers, famous people, and online personalities are people as well, and they have feelings. These messages can really do damage to someone. There was no need for this at all. Social media is becoming very toxic and it's getting upsetting in my opinion. Many people showed their grief and sadness for her. I hoped that this would lead to a much more positive outlook and atmosphere in the wrestling community. We need to obviously be better to each other, right? Sadly, this was not the case and there was a pool of drama that continued. There was some kid on Twitter that recently made a meme out of her death.
Yeah, this is fucking tragic. I have made the same point. With the 9/11 tragedies, and I know I brought that up, but no comedian joked about it after it happened. They just didn't. Joking about someone at 22 years old who killed themselves so soon after it happened. Fuck that. Absolutely no. Absolutely no. Just absolutely goddamn no. Never do that. Wait until enough time has passed if you're gonna make a dark joke like that. Because they're just gonna happen. You can't stop every dark joke from happening. Morbid jokes happen all the fucking time. It's a part of free speech. But there should be a line drawn where you should not make it so soon after it happened. And if you have enough of a moral compass on your shoulders, you police yourself to not do it at all. Just how it is. That's my fucking take on that. Fuck this dude. And I'm glad he censored his out. Like, I wish more people did this. Do not make people like this fucking famous. Do not show their ad. Do not show their picture. I love what Polana did here.
He even did the same thing with Shad's death as well. It was just distasteful. Yeah, Sonny, a former WWE wrestler, also addressed the death.
We don't even need to go to this freaking woman after the comment she made about George Floyd. I don't even want to talk about that.
It's just one of the most
Fuck
ignorant things I've ever seen.
Now, I will say her point was similar to mine that, I don't even want to say it was similar to mine, because the way she said it was like, oh, you're just weak and mental health doesn't exist. But when I said I was weak, I was weak because I didn't see the full picture. And this is coming from a guy that almost did it, okay? So, I have a right to speak on that, because I actually, it almost happened to me. Straight up, right? It almost happened to me. I'm much better now than I was in 13, okay? Much better now. While I still have my mental health issues, I now have a clear sense of judgment of I never should go to that last resort, because everyone around me would be greatly negatively affected. So badly affected. So, I won't do it. Period. That's not even a thought that comes to mind anymore. Right? So, that is what I mean by I was weak in that moment. And I didn't put everything in. And Hana Kimura was weak in her moment because she did not put everything into perspective, because she was getting so harassed and bullied. And that is on them. And for you to be like, oh, she was just weak and couldn't take the fucking criticism, grow the fuck up. And after what you said about George Floyd, I'm sure you didn't give a single fuck about what happened to Hana Kimura. Fuck you, Tammy Cinch.
Ryan Satin stirred up some drama shortly after the death of Hana Kimura. He brought up some tweets from JD from New York from last year. The tweets were basically him calling Ryan cancerous to the community and calling out his takes as well as his journalism. This led to a number of tweets between the two going back and forth.
We already talked about journalism before, but I like JD from New York and everything, but this kind of came to mind. They're both wrong. Okay, that's just it. They're both bad. I don't care what you want to tell me. They're both horrid. That's it. Okay? And this is with any journalism, okay? Journalism is supposed to be the news. And by news, I mean the facts as they show. The thing that you can determine as fact should be what should be reported. That's what should be reported. If you want to have an opinion show, that's fine too. You can have that. You can talk about that. You can say that your opinion is not reflective of everybody else's opinion. And you can do that. You have the right to free speech. You can make the right to free speech on however you want. But if you're going to classify yourself as journalist, you need to have the facts of the fucking situation. Ryan Satin didn't have all his facts. JD didn't have all his facts. Plain and fucking simple. So they are not journalists, they are opinion pieces, and they should classify themselves as such. Guarantee you if they did, a lot of this crap that happens on social media would not happen. It just wouldn't happen. Period. Period. Just learn to separate the two. So that's what I'm trying to say. Learn to separate the two. Learn to separate your opinion and fact. Fact is absolute. Opinion is not fact. Your opinion is not fact. Period. I don't like WWE, right? But I'm not going to present that as fact. If you like WWE, go for it. That's fine. I'm not telling you that if you like WWE and you want to report on the facts of WWE and how much they're making and you know, you want to present the facts, like, even if you like WWE, you should present the facts of the situation. You should present the good facts and the bad facts. That's it. Okay? Or not even good facts and bad facts. Just facts in general. Right? Nobody's doing that anymore. In any sense of journalism. We talked about all of this in the Indy Force last episode. I'm pretty sure this is going to be out after that happens. But this is... it's so petty. I'm not a journalist. Well, you're not a journalist. Or no, you're not a journalist. Oh, no, you're not a journalist. You're not getting your facts correct. No, you're not getting your facts correct. You're both wrong. You're both not getting your facts correct. Come the fuck on. Grow up. What's next? You're gonna do Keem and H3 and go after each other's sponsors too? Don't frickin' surprise me.
And being pretty much petty. I'm gonna go on the record and say I'm on neither of their sides and think that they are both wrong in this situation. JD was clearly criticizing Satin, and that's fine. However, criticizing someone and calling them a straight up pussy and cancerous are two completely different things. I think he takes things to the extreme and doesn't really think about the consequences of his words. It seems like he is playing a character, but he needs to realize that some people take things differently and this will hurt his own credibility as well as other people's feelings. On the other hand, Ryan bringing up all of this right after her death to play the victim card and stir up drama was completely unnecessary. There was absolutely no need for a stupid ass petty fight between these two, especially after finding out about this news.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You're 100% right there, Plana.
After his beef with Ryan, there was a video that circulated around the internet. JD was explaining how he believes Alexa Bliss doesn't bring anything to the table when it comes to wrestling, comparing it to her when she's in bed. It's actually one of the worst and terrible takes I've ever seen, and I don't know why he said it in the first place, to be honest.
I will say freedom of speech. I want to get that out of the way. But he has the right to receive criticism for that horrible take. That is true. That was a horrid take, and I agree with that. And I'm a fan of JD. Okay, that was terrible what he said. I'm not even going to repeat it on here. It was that bad. I'll just repeat the last line of no substance whatsoever. If you wanted to critique her ring work, that's fine. But the way he did it was kind of tasteless. That being said, Alexa actually responded pretty damn well here. This is a point where OTRS and him, because I'm going to play OTRS's video right after this one, they disagree that she didn't handle it properly. I'm going to explain why she did handle it properly, better than her colleagues defending her.
Alexa Bliss replied to it expressing her anger with the video, and I agree with her. I thought that it was very unprofessional, and I thought Alexa Bliss handled it very well. It was very mature. However, her co-workers I don't think were mature, and I think they were out of line. Rather than supporting her, they pretty much just proceeded to shit on JD and cyberbully him. This is the definition of hypocrisy.
Yep. Yep.
Braun Strowman called him a sad-ass mark who using the old joke of wrestling fans living in their mom's basement.
By the way, Mark, like, that's what we are now to you, is just a bunch of marks? Like, I don't know, man. Like, just, I'll get to my feelings on how they handled things in a minute, but that's just another horrible take and just terrible altogether.
Additionally, he talked about how JD knows nothing about wrestling, dismissing any of his criticism. There are two problems with his reply. First of all, he is cyberbullying JD, as I said earlier. And second of all, I think there is an underlying issue with wrestlers and fans. I think WWE wrestlers, for the most part, really don't take criticism too well. Rather than improving on the show and whatnot, depending on the feedback, they easily just dismiss this and oppress our opinions.
I want to point out as well that these two are rumored to be dating. I don't know if that's true or not, but it wouldn't surprise me at this point. But again, Polana makes another very good point. They don't take criticism well. In fact, I've seen wrestlers not take criticism well, to the point where they will lash out at fans, colleagues, and quote-unquote journalists alike. And that needs to stop as well. Okay? As I said, with Pokimane, with this whole, with the YouTuber that made a criticism video on her, if you don't like what someone says, you can either respond maturely like Alexa Bliss did, or, and also another thing that Alexa did was leave it at 2 tweets and not like 700 like Braun Strowman and everybody else did, or you can ignore it. Let's get the graphic up, kids. Ignore. That's the word of the day, kids. Ignore. If you don't like what they're saying about you, just go about what you do. Just go about what you do. Go about your business. Improve. You know what? And here's another thing. Here's another thing I brought up on the Indy Force that I said I was going to go in depth with. Right? Instead of channeling your aggression and anger into responding to that criticism, regardless if it's mature or not, which I will admit, Alexa Bliss was mature, why not take that anger, harness that anger into motivation to get better, like The Miz did? I can't even believe I'm bringing up The Miz in this, but The Miz, when everybody, and myself included, when told him, oh, he's too soft in the ring, he's terrible, he's this, he's that, all the nine, he's just like, he doesn't care about his ring work. What he did was, he actually got better in the ring. He actually trained a little bit harder in the ring, while still maintaining his soft style, because he doesn't want to get injured and he wants to be reliable, which I can respect, actually, looking at it from that perspective now. And he channeled his anger on the microphone and had one of the best promos of his entire life on Talking Smack. He harnessed that anger and he burst it out at Daniel Bryan, who was general manager at the time, and went off. And you know what? It was great. It was great because he harnessed that and turned a situation from real to kayfabe and made his career. Absolutely made his career. That promo alone is going to make The Miz a future Hall of Famer. I don't know in the actual Wrestling Hall of Fame where he'll stand, but I know he's definitely going to be a WWE Hall of Famer, whatever that's worth. So, he made his career. You can't deny that. And like, I wish more people would be like Mike Mizanin in that instance, where they harness their anger and just kind of use it as fuel to get better in the ring, or, on the microphone. And just every other aspect of the sport. I don't understand this mentality of lashing out at fans, lashing out at critics, and just making it worse for yourself, because all it's going to do, and I stress this point, is going to chase fans away. It has already happened. Granted, a lot of that's on WWE's fault, but I guarantee you, this shit ain't helping either, and it's probably chased a lot of fans away as well. There's a reason, there are many reasons why Monday Night Raw is below 2 million viewers now, and will probably be like that for the foreseeable 2 years, if not longer. The fact that they did it themselves, that's the first thing, because of their horrible creative direction right now. And the fact that wrestlers just lash out at fans after fans lash out at wrestlers, and then also fans lash out at other fans because they don't support that company, or they don't support this, or they don't support that, and they're a blithering idiot, and they're cancerous, and they're this, and they're that, blah, 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 blah. It's like a bunch of childs in a sandbox fighting. My God. Okay? And how, and granted, I'm not perfect. We're never gonna be perfect. We're gonna have our moments. I'm never gonna be like this goody two-shoes guy, right? I'm gonna have my moments. But I try to be the best that I can be every day. And whatever criticism I have, I take, I harness. I love criticism, personally. Any criticism I can get, I will take that and be like, you know what? Fair enough. Maybe I can improve on this. Maybe I can improve on that. Now, if you tell me to kill myself, you're deleted and blocked. But, you know, criticism is not bad. Can we remember that, please? If anything from this horrid situation the last 3 weeks that has developed in our world, can we at least agree on that? Can we at least agree that we can be better and that we can take these criticisms in our world and use them to be better people? And at least make the effort instead of, let me lash out immediately because I have this thing called a keyboard, whether it's on a phone or hold on, wait, let me just pull PowerPoint up. Let me just type something, right? You're a cunt. Unfollow me, right? Like, don't do that. Be like this. I respect your opinion. Or, well, the thing decided to do the stupid thing, which is, let's recorrect your freaking word. Or you could do what Alexa Bliss did, which is respond maturely, which she did. Anyway, continuing with the rest of this story, because then it gets even worse. It gets even worse, because after the Hana Kimura situation, we're right back to square one, with JD fans going and attacking Alexa Bliss and other wrestlers, and then wrestling fans of these people trying to threaten and tell JD to kill himself. And his family, by the way. And his family.
This tweet and this beef between JD and the wrestlers pretty much exposed that podcasters need to be more professional, because JD's not the only one who does this. I saw someone else who acts very similar, and it also exposes wrestlers who aren't professional either and continue the bullying while also showing that they oppress our opinions and thoughts on the product. That is ridiculous.
Yep.
I hate.
Which is why, by the way, that was the only reason they even brought back Raw Talk. So do not support that. Support Don Tony and Kevin Castle. Support Jason Solomon. Support those guys. And if you want to support Raw Talk, you have the very right to do so. But if you truly like these content creators better than the WWE, do not support them. Because that's the only reason why they even brought back Raw Talk. I want to point that out, because a lot of these guys are going to lose a chunk of their viewers, I think, because of Raw Talk being on the WWE Network, especially for this free tier, I think. So, just be mindful of that, please, for sure. Like, just be mindful of that.
Every wrestler mentions the fact that we have never wrestled, and that's why they should never take our opinion serious, but I think that's just straight up wrong. I think the only reasonable person in this entire situation was the victim, Alexa Bliss, so kudos to her for handling it well.
By the way, Lexi Kaufman's such a nice person. She really is. She really is. And you know, Again, she's not perfect. She has her flaws. She's not exactly the best in the ring. I'll admit that. But come on, man. Like, she does the best that she can with what she's got. And there's something to be said with the fact that she conquered an eating disorder just to be where she is today. That takes a lot of guts. It takes grit. That takes determination. I respect that. I don't care what anybody wants to tell me. And I'm not an Alexa Bliss, like, super fan by any means. But I respect the hell out of what she's done. You cannot take that away from her. Period. So, keep that in mind as well, you know? Just keep that in mind. I'm not saying that she's not subject to criticism. Everybody's subject to criticism, as I've been saying ad nauseum throughout this whole video. But don't take it too far, and don't, you know, try to be more like her and respond to, like, in this situation at least, and respond to the situation that way. And I'll say this, other than the whole her and Sasha Banks having quote-unquote beef or whatever, which, again, I highly doubt. I think they're just playing it up now at this point. I don't hear a lot of Alexa Bliss drama. You know? Keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say on that. Oh, boy. I forgot this was
Another quick little piece of drama I wanted to mention is the entire Leo Rush and Mark Henry controversy. Apparently, Mark Henry wanted to help out Leo Rush when he was working with the company. Leo claimed that Mark Henry doesn't want to see black people succeed in WWE, and not...
Leo, I love you, man. You're so talented, and I'm sure you'll still be accepted wherever you go. But that is not true. Especially with going on in the world right now, I'm sure Mark Henry is right on the front lines. Right on the front lines right now with what's going on in the world. Probably protesting. Okay, you can't say that. Okay, and I made fun of ACH for the same freaking thing, and justifiably so. He made the same bold claim that WWE doesn't care about black people yet. And granted, don't get me wrong, WWE has a history of having racial remarks, but there has been a lot of, and I mean a lot of, black success stories in WWE and in wrestling in general. So you can't go and make bold accusations like that. Again, that makes an ass out of you. And granted, freedom of speech, say whatever you want, but Mark Henry has the right to retaliate. In this case, you got to think about what you say here. You know? Not everything is black and white. That's the one thing I've learned in life. Not everything is black and white. And by black and white, I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about, like, right or wrong. So, you cannot make bold accusations like that because of your personal experiences. I actually wrote a whole paper on lying, right, for the WPE, or writing proficiency exam for UMass Boston, and it addresses that exact point. You having this perception of what you've gone through and using that as your lens provides an echo chamber of sorts where that's all you're going to know. Instead, and that in turn essentially just completely disregards other people's dispositions. Right? Now, I'm not saying that Leo may not have a gripe. He may very well be. He might be telling the truth, for all I know. ACH may have been telling the truth with, you know, the whole... And by the way, and I firmly agree with ACH on one point, that shirt was atrocious, what they released. I firmly agree with that. But I don't think they did it on purpose. Right? Just... I don't know. Like, it's definitely a lazy shirt. And again, that could be criticized, but it was a bit much. We gotta know when to pick our battles here, and we gotta know if there was malice intent or not. Right? And now there was no doubt in my mind that he felt that there was malice intent there. But instead of blasting him publicly, talk to him. Just talk to him. Talk to the guys. Anyway, that's all I gotta say on that. I think, and again, I'm a white guy. So I'm not me saying this. I don't know what these guys go through. You know what I mean? I don't know what they go through. But I can tell you that in other wrestling companies, if you don't like it there, you can leave. Like, there are black guys succeeding greatly in other companies. Private Party is going to be a future tag team champions. That's almost guaranteed at this point. I mean, you got Bobby Lashley, who was like the longest reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion in like the history of the company. At least, I don't know what it's like now. I think Tyra has beaten her of all time because of her Knockouts Championship reign. But I know that he was the longest world champion in TNA. Right now, he's getting a WWE Championship opportunity, long overdue, mind you. But, you know, him and Drew McIntyre are having a match at Backlash, and MVP's his manager, and he's a well-spoken individual. He's, you know, he's got cadence to his voice, and he's being the manager for Bobby Lashley. God, there's so many other examples I can mention. Jay Lethal, who ACH criticized. Jay Lethal is one of Ring of Honor's top people. And rightfully so. He's so phenomenal at what he does. He's great at mic work. He's one of the most underrated wrestlers, period, in my opinion. Because the casuals don't know who Jay Lethal is. They only know of what he did in TNA as Black Machismo and, you know, doing his Macho Man impression and, you know, his Ric Flair impression, I'm sure. But they don't know how truly amazing Jay Lethal is at everything. Great storyteller. He's a great high flyer. He's a great mat technician. He's a great promo. Everything, right? He's a success story and a half. If you look at the history of wrestling and you look at, you know, African American heritage or black heritage in wrestling, Jay Lethal is going to be one of the top in the list, guaranteed. Guaranteed. And do we even need to mention the New Day? I mean, Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship, again, stripped of it in 8 seconds, but he still had his big moment with him and Daniel Bryan. Shad when he was alive, and MVP embracing after they saw that, which is probably what enticed MVP to come back to the company by that point. Like, and just a well-told story, and you know, and then Kofi and them being like the top dogs on the tag team division for so many years, so many damn years. Like, God, there's so much more. There's so many more I'm probably forgetting. Ron Simmons being the first WCW champion, even especially breaking barriers, considering the fact that the guy didn't want him to be champion and was actually racist. Everybody knows Jim Herd was. Don't pretend he wasn't. He won the world championship. Like, Booker T, 5-time WCW champion. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of black success stories. There's a lot. There's a ton. Not to say you can't point the finger at the other point. Like, yeah, there has been a lot of racist issues. Absolutely. There's no denying that. But to say a black man, your fellow brother, is actively not wanting wrestlers to succeed is just ludicrous. That's the most absurd take I ever heard. And look, Leo, I love you. You're immensely talented. One of them, you along with Jay Lethal, is like one of the most underrated promos and storytellers and high flyers and all that. Just an all-around, nice, well-rounded performer. But that take was absurd. That take was absolutely absurd. That being said, I don't think it should have been released. Because what the hell? You're going to release freaking Leo Rush? When he was like your main guy in the Cruiserweight division, he was like the main reason people were tuning into that? I don't know, man. Just seems a bit fishy to me, but... You know, that's neither here nor there. The company's going to do what the company's going to do, and I've expressed my opinions on it ad nauseum that it was just wrong, but I don't think it has anything to do with Henry. Like, come on. Come on. Like, really? Come on, man.
lawyers and potentially sue Rush. I even got pretty upset when my friend Muslim Man Malcolm made a video talking about this entire drama. He talked about how he thought that they both should have spoken about this matter privately. And Leo Rush then watched the video, left a comment asking if it was all worth it, and then proceeded to block him on social media. If you don't know, Leo Rush and Malcolm are kind of close, as Malcolm's been watching his entire career, and they even have little interactions with each other on social media all the time. They were pretty decently close. It just shows how insecure Leo could be. It's ignorant and straight up rude to do that, while Malcolm was just stating a pretty fair point.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a bit much, don't you think, Leo? And this guy's been following you your entire career. You're just gonna dismiss him like that because he doesn't agree with your opinion on an absurd take you made? Like, I mean, for fuck's sake. This is not the same situation. It's a much more broader claim with what you're saying with, you know, with Henry not wanting blacks to succeed in the WWE, which is bullshit because I'm sure that means he wouldn't succeed. That's just a selfish reason, but I mean, that's the obvious reason. We had a whole meme argument almost on the Indy Force where I think that Megasexual is an anime, and, you know, Mike, you know, and everybody else thinks it's not an anime. Well, Casey, I think, is undecided, but Nikos and Mike thinks it's not an anime, and it's an animation cartoon in the U.S., right? We've had this debate over and over and over again, but you don't see Mike being like, "Fuck you. You're not willing to budge. I'm gonna leave you." You know what I mean? I haven't done that to him. I've never done that to Mike. Mike has had some absurd takes that I've sometimes disagreed with, but I don't fucking be like, "I hope it was worth it," and then freaking remove him from my life after he supported me through thick and thin. Now, granted, that's my best friend. This guy was just a super fan that's been following him throughout his entire career, who happened to say one single criticism of Leo and how he was handling that situation, and then he blocked him. Why? It's just a bit much, Leo. Come on. Come on, man. And right now, like, you blocked him for that when there's a lot more important shit going on in the world right now. For your culture especially. I'm not saying, and look, I'm not saying, like, you know, if you don't like him, you don't like him. But, and trust me, I have plenty of people I don't like and I choose not to associate with. But it's not that deep. Come on, man. I just don't get it. I don't get what social media has done with the world. I feel like it's almost like a curse.
He didn't throw any shade or anything at all. It was just Leo Rush overreacting to the situation, similar to the wrestlers, and not dealing with it in a more mature way.
Yep.
And I also did not forget about the super toxic wrestling fans throughout this entire situation as well. Some fans are defending JD's comments, and I think those people are wrong. You cannot defend what JD was saying.
I will defend it in the sense that freedom of speech exists. I will also defend Alexa Bliss rebuttaling against JD. We're going to finish this up because I'm running out of room on my computer, and as you know, I run 4 shows, so memory is kind of low. Probably going to have to use my terabyte now that I think about it, just so that way I have some extra space and then delete it right after. But that's beside the point. We're going to finish this video. Let's finish this video up.
That is wrong, and it's not okay to say that to people. Other fans are sending death threats to him and his parents, and I think those people are even worse. This is literally the worst approach to it.
Yep. 100%. 100%. This is the absolute worst approach to it.
All miss the point and are acting no better than these cyber bullies. You've become cyber bullies in a way. It's just a disgusting sight to see. It all started with negativity. Every single thing in this video started with negativity, and sadly, that cycle will continue. I wish we could all change for the better, honestly. Everyone involved should seriously be ashamed. I hope all of this is eye-opening to the wrestling community because this needs to end. Please be kinder to people on social media and think about your actions of your tweets or comments because they do have consequences.
And finally, while I agree with his point, and I agree, they share the same opinion for the most part, by the way. We now move on to OTRS Central with his take.
It's so true that the internet can indeed be a wonderful place. You can share and look at other people's puppy pictures. You can sit there and have debates with people all around the world about who's the GOAT this and who's the GOAT that. You can access a plethora of free porn options available to you at the click of a mouse. Those are the things that the internet is for. It can also help bring awareness to causes, raise money for worthy things. It can help people chase their dreams.
Perfect example of what he just said. Black Lives Matter movement. That cause is in the description. Please donate to it. I would donate to it if I wasn't completely flat broke. So if you guys have spare change, please donate. I feel bad that I can't donate because I had no money to my name. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Pursue and achieve lifelong goals. The internet can be wonderful. And unfortunately, as part of that, we all know it can also be this cesspool of toxicity, of negativity, of hate and trolling and cyberbullying. And unfortunately, that comes with the territory. Unfortunately, that's not going anywhere. It will only get worse as time goes along. And naturally, because we are humans, we are naturally drawn to that negativity. Like flies to the freaking bug zapper. You have everybody around you telling you, don't go towards the bug zapper. Naturally drawn towards the negativity.
Yep.
You know, we're humans. We're morons. But, you know, in light of some of the recent things that happened, specifically with Hana Kimura's untimely suicide, you know, all these wrestlers talking about cyberbullying and the need for the hate to stop, and fans chiming in as well. You know, it's certainly a timely conversation. And, you know, I look at this and I say, yes, trolling is bad, can sometimes be harmless, but sometimes it can go too far. Cyberbullying certainly can be bad, but how each individual defines cyberbullying can certainly be different. But, you know, it's not going anywhere, and that's the stark reality of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I see a couple of days after something like that happening, and all the outpouring of emotions and support and the determination to be against cyberbullying, 48, 72 hours later, we're right back in that pathetically predictable pattern of behavior that I would come to expect from the wrestling community as a whole. And no, it's not just the podcasters like a JD sitting there talking about making cracks on Alexa Bliss. If anything, it's the wrestlers. Like, proving yet again that they are the biggest marks of all. Like, look, I'm not here to defend what he said, because it is what it is. It's an off-cuff remark. It's stupid. I've certainly made my share of them.
I have too. We're not perfect, as I've said ad nauseum throughout this video.
It is whatever. But damn, do we have to get so emotional at everything everybody says? How ironic, I'm dealing with somebody like JD, who indeed gets so emotional about anything that anybody says that is contrary to what he believes.
Yes.
You know, typical bully pulpit type of stuff. You know, it's all good when you are dishing, but you cannot receive yourself.
Yep.
Which should kind of be the ground rules. You should only be able to dish what you can handle yourself. I may sometimes dish a lot, but I can also handle a lot. So it's not as bad. But after what he said, you see Alexa Bliss responding and talking about him. You see Sonya Deville responding to him and talking about him. Braun Strowman responding and talking about him. You know, and to me, this is a perfect time to remind wrestlers of a very simple motto that they should all adhere to. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
This I firmly freaking agree with. The point I made with The Miz is basically what he's saying here. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If you cannot channel your anger to better yourself, to make more income, do not respond to it at all. Or if you're going to respond to it, do what Alexa Bliss did and respond to it maturely. Now, he disagrees with that and thinks that it should have just not been said at all. But I disagree. If you can do it in a mature way, there's valid okay to do that. And again, freedom of speech. Shit's gonna happen. Now, that being said, I do agree with him there. Just from a financial standpoint, if nothing else.
How much money do you think you're going to make because you get into it with some internet guy?
0.
Bupkis.
Exactly.
So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense to do it.
Yep.
If you don't want to feed the cycle of trolling and hate and cyberbullying, the last thing you do is engage in it, and especially engage in it in kind.
Yep.
Like Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
You know, I get it. You probably didn't like what he frickin' said.
Yeah.
Oh well!
Eh.
Like, seriously, it's not called for maybe what he said. But damn it, you can't control what other people say. You can control how you adapt to and react to the things that are said.
Yes. Amen. 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 That part you can control. There are certain things I want to point out, because I did talk about the George Floyd thing earlier, where you cannot control it, but you can control what you do. What can you do to change it? Protest peacefully. That's what people are doing now, all over the world, right? Keem and H3 hate each other, so they go after each other all the time. Keem doesn't have to dox people, and Keem can just let it go, like Tommy C said and recommended. You know? And then if they could either shut up or they can do a boxing match, like I said. That's a perfectly reasonable way to go about it, because then at least it will get views and it will get dollars, and they will make $5 million a piece, right? Because if they can either make social change or they can make financial change in their life. And in this case, with wrestling, don't respond to the negativity unless you're going to channel it for a later promo and then use it to better yourself in ring. Period. Just simple as that, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be criticized. Even the people for just causes will be criticized. I know I'm probably going to be criticized by the time this video goes out. It's what you do with that criticism going forward. It's how you respond to that criticism. It's really going to show who you are. That's it. That's it. It's all it comes down to, really.
Either toughen up a little bit, adapt to it, find some humor in it, or figure out how to ignore it.
Yes. Yes.
If something like that said by some random jamoke that you've never seen unless he's paid to sit there and meet you and take a picture with you at Access, if that's going to bother you so much, then you've got deeper-seated issues that you need to deal with. And maybe social media isn't the place for you, and maybe professional wrestling isn't either. Like, good God. Joey Numbers said it so perfectly on Twitter. Like, outside of the internet and social media, wrestling is as cake as it's ever been, and he's absolutely right. And yet these wrestling clowns, these marks in the business, get more butthurt and more overly sensitive and more emotional about anything than I've ever seen. It's crazy. And the fans too, for that matter. Yep. You don't like what I like. I hope you rot in hell. You don't like my favorite wrestler. I hope you get AIDS. The full-blown type, not just the Magic Johnson gets HIV and then it magically is never an issue again.
Oh, fuck. That kills me every time he says it, man. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Typo. Like, this is just crazy. It's scripted entertainment. It doesn't have to be life or death.
Yeah.
And again, if something like that being said by somebody that you didn't have to heed, that you didn't have to pay attention to, that you could have very easily just ignored, as so many of you wrestlers do, because you know you've got mute options on Twitter and social media. You've got the block button that so many of you apply so liberally anyways, which is probably part of the problem, because you isolate yourself so damn much for any and all negativity or criticism, that when you do happen to be exposed to any of it, you fly off the freaking handle! All the while, being another one of those types that's going to rally against harassment and hate and trolling and cyberbullying on the internet, then when you respond, you have to know what comes along with that, and you know what you're doing. You're trying to sit there and give yourself a place of assuredness and know that you're going to unleash your legion of minions to attack them.
Yes. Now, certain people take it too far, and we are going to get to the problem, the real problem of social media. We will get to that and why it happens. Guarantee it. Okay? We guarantee it. That being said, let's continue.
You can't control what another person says or does. You can certainly control what you do, how you act, what you say, when you say it, how you say it, why you say it, all of these things. That's what you can control. You got Sonya Deville talking about, I wish I could see this dude. For what? A couple of days ago, you're boo-hooing about cyberbullying. Now you're sitting there and tweeting something that anybody with a logical bone in their body can sit there and rationalize as potentially a physical threat of violence against somebody, knowing, again, the responsibility that comes with the profile and platform that you have, that even if you're just full of shit, you Nazi dating freak, of course you are. You know, as a general rule, I'm descended in my bloodlines from my German ancestry. There were soldiers that fought in World War II. There were certainly Nazis there. It's why my family doesn't talk about it a whole lot. You know what I don't do? Is I don't sit there and try to live according to their ideology. I try to live as counter to it as I possibly can be. You chose to at one point in time date one, so sit down and shut up!
Yeah, I mean...
But you're going to boo-hoo about cyberbullying and all the while engage in it yourself.
I want to point out, I don't know if she's actually a Nazi, but she is a history buff. I don't know that. That still hasn't been confirmed. If people want to tell me that whole story with what's her face that Sonya Deville's dating, let me know, because I don't know. I just wanted to point that out. I don't know if we have the full facts of that, really. I could be wrong, and there could be facts. I have no idea. Maybe she was a Nazi sympathizer, for all I know. It's been so long, and if she was, I forget. Because again, we're not perfect, and humans can forget.
What didn't even involve you to begin with? You are a problem, a bigger part of the problem than the original clown statement that elicited the response to begin with.
Which is true.
Especially knowing the dangers of what you recklessly, just flippantly threw out there. Because just because you might not actually ever act on it, or even if you did, doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't take that next step. One of your loyal minions, one of your raging marks, and sit there and take that type of action themselves.
Yep.
You can't control what other people say, but you can control what you say. You can control what you do. And there are consequences to things that you say and do, like Braun Strowman. You're the world champ of WWE, one of the 2 world champs.
Yep.
Making 7 figs. The hell do you care about some random freaking podcaster on YouTube or the internet?
Yeah.
Shut up! Bad enough you think George W. Bush is a hero, my God. You're sitting there making 7 figures, one of the faces of a company, mind you, at a time of significant decline in interest.
Again, there's a lot to do with that I don't think is Braun Strowman's fault. He's just like everybody else right now. They're dealt a bad hand. I will say this. AEW, NXT, they keep a steady audience because they give a lot more creative freedom and leeway to their athletes than the WWE does, or the main roster does, right? That's just a fact. This has been proven just by, if we're going by what people are saying. Now they're trying to start letting people have creative freedom. They're having MVP have creative freedom. They're having McIntyre and Lashley now finally have creative freedom. They're having Seth Rollins have full creative freedom. You know, all this stuff and all that. Maybe Jeff Hardy was responsible for that thing that I didn't particularly care for and thought it was kind of tasteless. Who knows? If he liked it, maybe I have a different stance on it, because if he approved it, what more can I really say other than the fact that you've tried this before and it failed? What's going to be different this time? And need I remind everybody of 2009 with CM Punk and him? I rest my case. But, you know, if that's him, who am I to judge? You know, that's his creative freedom, whatever. Whatever, right? But when you have proper creative freedom and you do things properly, and NXT's done that for years, and AEW has done that, and not only they're like, what, the first year they've been around, it can work. And it's proven that it can work, and it's proven that it can keep a steady fan base, and that it won't dip too much, or it won't go up. Like, they'll have their dips, especially during this pandemic. Everything had their dips. But it's spiked dramatically back up. They have their sweet spot right now. And hopefully they gain more and more and more fans down the road, because they're letting people have creative freedom. They're catering to the wrestling fan, right? That's something entirely, and we'll be on this topic all day. But I don't think it's Braun Strowman's fault entirely. He's dealt a bad hand. Not to say that you can't criticize him. OTRS has every right to criticize him. I have no problem with that. But him being the champ is in a direct relation at this point to the ratings on a downturn. I think, if anything, it's the fact that WWE just has really just had sour tastes on everybody's mouths, and the fact that wrestlers and fans always go at each other's throats on social media, and that probably tuned a lot of people out. That's like, man, fuck this shit. I don't want to deal with this. I want to be entertained. I want to be immersed. I don't want, I don't want to see what I already go through on real life play out in front of my eyes with different people. Same shit, different day. In other words.
No way related to him, right? If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Be bigger than that. Be above that. Be better than that. And especially with the played out lines. Like, of all people, Braun Strowman. Like, why are you sitting there in those tired, played out things? At least be creative. At least be original. Crack on a dude talking about living his mind. You don't know what that dude does.
Yeah, you don't.
We could just...
I don't know what the dude does, but I do know that he commentates for Hog Wrestling, and he's one of the better commentators. One of the better commentators in indie wrestling, period, right now. He's right up there with, Dave Bradshaw and Joe Hendry and Stu Bennett and Joe Galley and all those guys. He's right up there with them. And not to mention the fact he also does YouTube for a living, and he has his own place. And... I assume may have a regular working part-time job just to get by right now. I don't know. Maybe. But I know for a fact he supports himself 100%. And he has his own place. That much has been clear. So he doesn't live in his mom's basement. And he's not just a mark. No wrestling fan's just a mark. They have mark tendencies. Oh, that's fine. I'll show him on video, because then he'll get me views. I got a cat. Thank you. But as I was saying, sorry, I had a cat that came in. I'm gonna leave this in. I don't even care, because this is my show now. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, at the end of the day, just don't assume. Just be mindful of people, man. I guess that's the main idea of this. Again, you have the right to say whatever you want to say. It's freedom of speech. Just, they do have consequences, and people don't take too kindly to certain things. They just don't. They They want wrestling as an escapism, not a reminder of, oh, wow, social media has really kind of fucked my life up. I don't think anybody wants that.
Easily crack on you for looking like you ain't taken a shower in 3 years, dog, but we don't do that. We should. We could, certainly, easily. But even if we did, who the hell cares?
Yep.
Make your money, dude. Shut up.
Sure. Yeah.
Seriously. If these wrestlers don't like cyberbullying, then don't engage in it yourself and don't make the problem worse based off of your actions and your behaviors. Is it fair that these people can say these types of things and not have necessarily consequences attached to them? No, it's not. But A, you can't necessarily control it, and B, life ain't fair. And if you ain't figured that out by now, then I don't know what the hell else to tell you. So instead of focusing on those unfair elements that you can't control, you have to do the best you can to focus on what you can control.
Yep.
And my suggestion for all of these marks in wrestling is stop being so emotional about every little damn thing.
Fuck. Of course, the cat decides to distract me when I'm trying to
do it. Learn how to laugh it off. Learn how to. You have to do the best you can to focus on what you can control.
Okay. Pause there. There are a lot more things to be properly emotional about, especially with what's going on in the world right now, than this bullshit. Period. Moral of the story here. It really is. Which is why I led off with it first. Anyway, let's continue.
And my suggestion for all of these marks in wrestling is stop being so emotional about every little damn thing. If this type of negativity or hate or trolling or cyberbullying gets to you, learn how to better adapt to it. Learn how to laugh it off. Learn how to, God forbid, ignore it. Get somebody else to run your social media if it's such a big issue. Don't create social media accounts if it's such a big issue. Don't ever read any of the responses to you. It's not that hard.
Yep.
Yes, it shouldn't have to be like that. I completely agree. But again, that's not the point. The point is what you can control. And if you don't like cyberbullying, then don't engage in it yourself. If you don't like cyberbullying, then figure out a way to adjust and adapt or ignore it. Again, that is also not that hard. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If it's not going to help put more money in your pocketbook, more money in your bank account, more money in your freaking savings, then don't engage in it.
Yes, 100% OTF.
It really isn't that hard.
Nope.
But instead, the behavior of these three and so many others is so typical of the hypocrisy that we see throughout professional wrestling. Oh, boo freaking who, until it comes to us, then we should be held to a different standard. And we're going to unleash our raging, nonsensical marks on everybody.
Yep.
How about everybody just toughen up and grow up a little bit? Is that really that hard? I'm just saying.
True. Especially with what's going on in the world right now, I think people should toughen up. Okay, I'm going to stop this recording, and we're going to just record my camera, because I'm done with what I needed to do now with that. But before I do, got a cat I got to let out. Fuck. Hit my microphone, apparently, by accident. Hold on one second. Now you're being a scary cat. Come on, you want it out. You want it out?
He wants to be able to come and go.
I know. Okay, as I was saying, let's get back to this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, I'm going to read off a couple things here and show you how the wrestling business has not changed in the slightest. I got this, I think, a few days ago. It's by by a man named, well, he's named somebody. If your mom is still alive, and oh yeah, this was on JD. If your mom is still alive, I hope a big black man rapes her and slits her throat. So using race, that's great. I'm just quoting word for word here. So, you pussy ass man, you have a shitty ass page. You're just a fat ass troll who deserves to die. Fuck's sake. Why does the world take people like Shad and let you still breathe? Oh my god, now he's using Shad and standing on his grave to hate on somebody? What the fuck? And tell them to die, essentially. Latest news, bitch, all you do is hate on AEW. Oh, so I think this is not JD, because he likes AEW. It's somebody else. I don't know who it is, but you get my point. I think this was AEW couple. At AEW couple on Twitter. Go follow them. They're nice. They're very nice people. Latest news, bitch, all you do is hate on AEW. Pussy ass, if you don't like it, why the fuck do you watch it? Because the only attention you get on your tacky mark page is when you hate on AEW. Fagoat ass bitch hating, and I said that wrong purposely, by the way. Hating on women too. Punk ass little boy, you lucky you don't show your face. Somebody needs to take you behind the barn and use the shotgun on you. Jesus Christ. Reading that just put into perspective of what the oh, come on. Just why? Just why, man? It's insane. It's just insane. And with that, I'll read this. Because this is what a guy feels. And I kind of feel this way too a little bit. With what's going on in the world. We're talking about how we can't control how we feel and how we can't control it. This is what this country. This is what this guy said. I'm not going to reveal his name. But this is what he said. I love this country and have always been idealistic about things. Always working out. But it all looks bleak. Nobody uses their head for anything any more than a hat rack, and it's a shame. Between COVID and the riots versus peaceful protests, near impossible to find a reasonable take anywhere. If you're about the justice system moving the murder of George Floyd from third to second degree, it makes it even more challenging to prosecute. The 4 cops will get off, possibly to a lesser charge, if at all. And then we will do the same song and dance again. It has happened too many times, and I can smell more divide from miles away, especially after an election year. My only solution/suggestion to everyone is to think ahead of the game. I don't plan on sticking around, because when things go full Mad Max, because logic and empathy will both be out the door even more than they are now. Even if you can't gain citizenship in some places, there are always other spots to be at if you want. Time/resources to get there may vary person to person, but this world and life is bigger than what's outside your window. Think for yourself and take care at this time and in the near future. That's sadly true, you know. Really is sadly true, especially with what's going on in the world. And not just what's going on in the world, but what's going on social media. I mean, this whole thing was just people lacking empathy and not seeing the bigger picture and not thinking with their head clearly. So he's 100% right. 100% right. Here's my advice, and I'll close with this. I'll start with the social media stuff first. I think there needs to be a constitution developed, and I've said this before, I think there needs to be a constitution developed on what and what not to do. If you are a journalist, don't tell lies, and if you are a journalist and you claim to be a journalist and not an opinion article guy, we gotta separate those two, 100%, and Have the journalists report the facts of the situation. That's what needs to happen there. That's what I recommend, and along with the rest of the U.S. Constitution. Like, certain things aren't going to be, like, applicable to social media, but you get my point. It's similar to the U.S. Constitution. Then, you are to ban anybody that uses kill yourself unironically. And even ironically, honestly, I was thinking long and hard about it, and maybe just banning it all outright will, be good. And then maybe if 10 years go by, maybe we can change that to where people could say it unironically again, and be able to tell when somebody's joking or whatever. Just stuff like that. Rule number 3, don't threaten anybody on social media. That should just be a biggie. That should just be a federal offense. I don't think you should go to jail for it or anything, but I do think that something should happen if you decide to engage in something like that. You should be held accountable for something like that. Let's just not do cyberbullying anymore in general. Right? I don't think that's needed. I do think that you deserve criticism. Maybe people can't handle it. Maybe people can't understand that. I do think that, people should be, criticized properly and justly. Satire exists. You're not going to be able to, get rid of satire, but if it's with the intent to harm, if you are able to make that distinction, that should go away, and that should also be treated as a federal offense. It is in this state. It is in Massachusetts. Cyberbullying of any kind, it's a federal offense. I don't think it's not. Again, it's not to the level of like going to jail or anything, but I assume fines for the parents and just a shit ton of legal headaches that you don't need. And that will be enough to probably scare them. And if it's not, then I don't know what the fuck is going on. But, let's crack down on this. Let's be serious about it. If they engage on any of these activities, ban their IP addresses completely. Seriously, ban their IP addresses completely. And do not, and I stress this, do not leave it up to the content creators. Leave it up to those people that are getting harassed to report it themselves. Okay? But then if it turns out to be a false claim, let's determine that it's a false claim and just say we're not going to do this, right? But if they're saying like horrid shit like they did with Hana Kimura, they absolutely should have been banned and never should have returned to social media again. Have a zero tolerance policy for that shit. Especially for kill yourself. Unironically. Absolutely. Should just be banned. And then for a while, ironically as well. Just because it's way too sensitive considering what happened. Way too sensitive. That does not mean people do not have the right to be criticized. That does not mean people do not have the right to free speech. It is simply policing certain things and keeping it fair for everybody as much as humanly possible. As far as the George Floyd stuff, and I'll reiterate this again, and we'll close it off with this. Please, do the right thing, go and protest, and if you can't protest, spread the word on social media. Everybody that is protesting, please be safe. And Black Lives Matter. Period. They do. And use your white privilege as a weapon against this system. And try to get some change to make it all one race again. And we're all the human race. Let's try to do that. Doesn't mean we can't criticize each other for other reasons, but race should not be one of them. Race should never be one of them. Sorry, it just is. And the last thing I actually want to talk about is don't go after people's sponsors. That's another thing I think I forgot to mention in the social media thing. Kyle Larson, right? He lost his sponsors because the sponsorships were like, we're done with you. And I'm sure some people went to them and, attack them or whatever on their own accord. But that should also be banned. Nobody should go and try to cancel people's sponsorships and actively seek that out. I don't care if you're a content curator. I don't care if you're a content creator. Do not do it. Do not engage in it. You will be banned as well. That's what I think should happen. Their IP addresses should be banned. Now, obviously, clean slate for everybody that did it before, including H3 and Keem. But from that point on, don't do it. Just don't do it. It's just a no-no. Different time. Start that, right? But yeah, please be safe in these protests, and whatever you do, just, be careful. And again, peaceful protests is probably what's going to get the point across here. And I understand people are angry, and you have a right to justify your anger in a reasonable way, because right now you need to. You absolutely need to. Shit needs to change, and shit needs to change quick. To my brothers out there, and to my non-brothers that are protesting right now, I hope you stay safe. I hope you stay, away from the looters and the rioters, and, hopefully the bad cops will not attack you, because there are some out there. Let's all stand united against the common enemy, which is, oppression. That's the common enemy here. Oppression on race. Let's try to understand each other a bit more, man. Throughout all this, I really, really want to see people understand each other more and try to make peace. And if nothing else, do what H3 Keep want to do and get in the boxing ring. At least we can make something good out of it. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for watching the JHebert Side of Things. This will be a once-a-month thing. That much is for sure. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you like this, video, leave a comment, because that will actually help the algorithm so much I can't even begin to tell you. So definitely leave a comment in the chat below or the live chat. Definitely do that. On top of that, please. By the way, this is premiered. I'm not actually live. I'm in the live chat though, most likely. So I'm probably going to interact with you guys there. Smash a like, share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other social medias that you can think of that I can't think of right now. And, share it everywhere you can. Share with your friends, family, loved ones. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'm sure some people probably won't. But, hey, I'm just a lot of shit that I needed to get off my chest. I hope I did it as professionally as possible. Even though it is rated R. And yeah, I hope people enjoyed it. I'm going to be coming back to custom themes at some point. There will be a promo dropping at some point next week, so be on the lookout for that. I already got a bunch of themes lined up in the pipeline, a lot of AEW ones, New Japan ones as well. Custom theme songs are coming back, custom Titantrons promotions, and just custom Titantron creation by myself are coming back, so definitely be on the lookout for that. It's coming back. And if you guys want to check out everything else I do, Indy Force, we're going to be coming back. Episode 13 is probably already out by the time you see it. If you have not seen it by now, go check it out. It's in my video archives. On top of that, if you guys want to check out other podcasts I do, go check out youtube.com/user/WrestlingFortune44. That is where you will find me on the Wrestling Rundown, although we haven't done an episode in a long time. But pretty sure we're going to be getting back into the swing of that at some point down the line. So definitely check those videos out. Check out youtube.com/user/reckless with an R, youth84, all one word. That is Hebeki TMD, and he got a whole new channel layout, and I do the alternative for pay-per-views. We actually did the Double or Nothing show. It was me, Colin Dunn of old PWR podcast cohort, and Travis, aka Hebeki TMD, hosting. So definitely check that out. Also check out the guys over at Aftermatch Wrestling, where I do NXT Party on occasion, and will most likely probably show up for the review. I have yet to ask them, but I'm looking to join in the review for NXT TakeOver in Your House. Yes, I caved. I know. But at this point, it's because of the whole Drake Maverick situation, and I'll make my opinion thought about that on episode 14. So, definitely check that out. And I think that's all the promotions. And that's the plug, as we scheme would say. With that being said, if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. I'll make sure I link it in the description. Anybody, or anyway, I should say. And until next time, we'll see you on the JHebert side. Peace out, everybody.
And it's all real. Underground past the pavement, we be wildin' on the corner freestyling. It's a fact that I'm dope, realize it's all real. Nod your head on the regular. Underground past the pavement, we be wildin' on the corner freestyling. It's a fact that I'm dope. If hip-hop was a bitch, man, I'd probably go an area. You see, I fear commitment, but I'm more afraid of barriers. You know what I'm saying? You get trapped in your cranium. Prefer to be free, but instead I'm reframing from criminal thoughts. I'm beginning to stop. Considering Pops was locked up in the block, but now I'm ready. I'm steady and strong like Teddy. It's tough to be solemn when you comic like Eddie. Murphy's Law doesn't apply to me. What could go wrong did already. A finder's fee is what I bring. Best in the underground, boldest the statement. Behold, he's the greatest. He's closest to apex, giving soldiers a